Hi, welcome to this webinar. I'm Saye from Tech Immigrants. Today I'm going to host this webinar with Dennis, and Dennis will explain why he's going to be with me in this webinar. Hi, Dennis.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? So my name is Dennis Holmgren. I am a former guest of the Tech Immigrants webinars, and today it's my great honor to, together with Saye, co-host this webinar where we are introducing game artist Werllen Holanda to the webinar. Werllen is a senior at Rovio Entertainment Finland, and he will today tell us about his journey from South America to Finland and how you can find a job in the West.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Werllen.
Hello, welcome guys. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me here. So yeah, my name is Werllen Holanda. I'm from Brazil. I'm currently living in Finland, and I'm senior game artist at Rovio, working for Angry Birds Dream Blast, one of the biggest one of the biggest Angry Birds games. So really nice to be here today.
Mm. Welcome, welcome. So, Werlin, it's really good to have you here. Well, I have a lot of questions for you, but I was thinking we would start with this. Could you tell us a bit about your background within the game industry, where you are from, and your career trajectory from Brazil to Finland? What led you to aspire for a job within the gaming industry?
I started my career in the game industry in the 2016. Before that, I was graduated in the design, and I had worked with illustration in Brazil. And in 2016, I received an invite to be part of a famous Brazilian game studio called Taps Games. There's a lot of good game professionals coming from the studio, and working there, I had my first steps as a game artist.
Mm.
Understanding how a game pipeline works, how a live ops pipeline works, how to work in game engine, the basics about how to create a game I have learned in the Taps games. So after some years work on that and learn on that, I I tried to find a job abroad. First of all, I got a job in a company called Soft Games, but it was totally remotely. In the quarantine pandemic times. So, but was a great experience because was my first experience working with a worldwide team. What with people from different countries, different backgrounds, and it was really nice, and it made me more confident to try a job abroad. So I think my first attempt to go abroad to work with games was in 20 2020, if I'm not wrong.
Mm.
Uh, I I had participated to TAU, the Trojan Horse was a unicorn, pretty famous art event in Europe. And because the pandemic in that year, they made a online version of the
Mm.
event. And in this TAU event, we had a lot of mentorship sessions, recruitment sessions, and I have the first contact with Rovio on this event. I had some friends who already work at Rovio. They all said only good things about the company. And in that event, I met my currently game art lead. So we met there. He gave me some feedbacks about my work, and I think 2 years 2 years after that, I there was a role for the Dream Blast team in Rovio in Finland. So I thought why not? Let's try with a poor English, with but with uh, uh, a knowledge about I need to do to get a role. So I tried, and the art lead, he remembered me about my work from the TAU, and we had a chat about that, and I have applied most part of the feedback that he gave me years before. So I think it's catched his attention, and hope in the I got the role. I moved to Finland in the last year, in the beginning of the last year. And since then, yeah, I'm working on Rovio as a senior game artist in the Dream Blast team. Pretty good game. Work with many good professionals, learning how to live in Finland, how to live in the pretty different culture, how to survive into winter and everything else. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I think, and what motivated me to try a job abroad was, I think, the opportunity in the range of the game industry in Europe and the other place. I mean, in Brazil, we have a lot of good professionals in gaming industry, but it's pretty new there. So we don't have a pretty big industry there yet. And so many professionals trying to go to other places to learn more, to get more opportunity. So that's what I tried to do. So now I'm here, and yeah, I'm enjoying a lot since then.
Ah, got it, got it. So basically, would you say that going to these events and networking was a big part of what helped you to achieve a job within the game industry in Europe and
Yeah.
actually showing yourself? Because this event, the Trojan Horse, is one of the more well-known ones. So you would say that investing in going to those events is like a must if you want to show yourself, if you want to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Mm,
I mean, it depends from where we are coming, because
mm.
for Brazilian people, for example, it's pretty expensive to go
Oh
to,
yes.
go to came to Europe, and be part of this event. So of course, if you have conditions to do that, it's a really good, really nice experience. And but since the 29, no 20, yeah, I think 2019, they started regular online versions of the
Mm,
TAU,
got
which
it.
they call career camp, if I'm not wrong. And
Mm,
of course, you don't have the whole experience of
no.
having everyone in the same place and talk about art and everything else. But we have a lot of mentorships and recruitment process there, and I think it is pretty valuable, because you can have a chance to talk to the people from the industry, from the game industry, and get feedbacks and more knowledge about how this stuff, how the gaming industry itself
Mm,
works here in Europe, on in the
mm.
other place of the world.
Got it, got
So
it.
I think it's pretty valuable.
Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, thank you for the info.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question. How do you think it's common to move from Brazil like specifically to Europe as a game artist? Like, is it easy like compared like to developers?
Yeah, I would say it's not easy, but it's totally possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as I said, we have a really good artists in Brazil. Many of them are already working for gaming companies in Europe. Most of them remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I think, yeah, since the when we had the pandemic stuff, and I think the possibility of working remotely growth, so it has have more possibility to do Brazilian people work from other places in the world. But I think since then, the migration from Brazil to other places in Europe has grown. So there are more companies open to bring Brazilian people to here,
Mm,
and it's pretty good. And I think, as I said, in Brazil we don't have a real big history about the game industry, but
mm,
we have, for example, a pretty good animation industry there.
Mm.
So a lot of people comes from the animation sometimes and goes to move to the game industry
Mm.
and find a real nice place to evolve to grow. So in the since we don't have too much structure in terms of companies, entertainment companies in Brazil. Most part of the artists have to do, do a multitask, be a
mm,
multitask professional. So it's really easy to find in Brazil totally generalist artists. As
mhm,
me, for example, I can do since the first concept art for a game. I can go through UI, animation, digital painting, implementation
Mm.
engine, units, for example. We can do a lot of stuff together.
Mm.
So I think
mhm,
the studios in Europe has an eye on us because we can do a lot of different stuff.
Mm.
So I think it's a good opportunity to Brazilian
Uh,
to came here to try a career and to learn with that industry in Europe. For example, is pretty huge. There's a lot of people with uh, many years of experience and knowledge, and I think it's a good opportunity to us.
yeah.
mm.
So you would say basically that a lot of Brazilians are really good generalists in the industry.
Yeah, yeah, I can say that. I mean, mostly for art. I mean, I'm not sure. As Saya asked about the programmers, for example, for other areas. I don't know exactly how it is, but I can say in terms of art, we have a lot of multitask artists. And
Ah.
don't get me wrong, we have a lot of specialists as well. But
Mm.
we're mostly common. We see people who can do a lot of stuff in the same time.
Mm. Got it. Got it. So the next question I have for you is how did you ensure that your portfolio and skills were up to industry standards? And do you have any tips for aspiring candidates how they can get their skills up and get their portfolios looking better?
Yeah, I think yeah, through the years working in different game studios, I think one thing that I really learned is how to look to the market and how to other games and other artists build their portfolios. I think
Mm.
when I trying to do a game or gaming art portfolio, for example, we try to do a lot of stuff, and sometimes a lot of stuff not related to the game industry
Mm.
itself. So I think when I'm talking about the game art portfolio, I think it's really important to show how much you can understand about that media, because it's pretty different. If you are doing a portfolio for animation, it's quite different than a portfolio
Yeah,
for game art, for example.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if you like, for example, I always say about the personal projects. I think personal projects pretty nice something pretty nice to have in the game art portfolio. And of course, we have to show some standards that we have in industry, some
Mm.
Some things we have to show that okay, this person knows how to create a game, how to create a character for a game, for example.
Mm.
But I think learn with the industry. If you want to go to a Rovio, for example,
Mm.
what I think you have to do, you have to go to look what Rovio are doing, for example, what the artists who works in Rovio are doing, what kind of art they are in their portfolio, what kind of projects they are, and try to replicate that. And of course,
Yes,
don't
yes,
forget about your unique stuff, because I think a good portfolio for me, for example, is a mix of what the market needs and what you as a person and a special person can do. When you have a mix
yes,
of
yes,
that, I think you can have a really really good portfolio project.
yes. So it's basically you could say that you have to look at what company you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Say that you're aiming for Rovio or King or Massive or something like that, and you have to pretty much lean your portfolio to this company and try to make stuff that they would possibly use in a game to show that you can be of that you can provide value to this company.
Yeah, yeah, mostly that, and of course, this is one way. I think it's the easiest way to do that, because when I talk about the recruiter or art director, they are, they see a lot of portfolios every day,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's pretty easy to see something that is exactly the job you need to for a role, for example. And as my portfolio, I can say as an example, there's a lot of generative stuff in my portfolio. There's some UI, there's some characters, a little of implementation engine, but there also um, a kind of aesthetic which we look for when we are uh, looking for like someone who can work for casual mobile game, for example. There's
mm,
like a cartoon with some shade, with there's some symbols, some aesthetic that is important to have when we are doing a portfolio for a specific company or a specific role. It's totally different if you go to a more portfolio who is totally mobile, casual, cartoon, and if we go to a portfolio to someone who works in the, I don't know, Blizzard, for example,
mm,
it's
for
totally
sure.
different. And it's important for me when we are creating a portfolio, having a clear focus. That's what we want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. And I have a question. My question is that I'm wondering how hard was the interview? Like, how many rounds of interview did you have for Rovio?
Yeah, actually, I don't think mm, I'm the best example for that because my interview with Rovio was quite easy because as I mentioned before, I had met the art lead in the we have talked before, so was quite easy. But I can say, for example, my interview in soft games was a pretty nice example. We had an interview with HR, what was pretty nice, no problems with that, just common questions, and we had other 2 rounds of interview. One of the game art lead, which was the moment to show your portfolio, to show your skills, to show
Mm.
what you can offer to the company. What was pretty easy, it's pretty nice, no pressure, but was the moment when I could show why I could be a good candidate for the role. And in the end, we had one small group interview with some members of the game team,
Mm.
and I saw that it is a pretty common step. We don't have those kind of stuff in Brazil, for example, for game roles, but I saw in here in Europe, in other places, pretty common, and but was a pretty relaxed interview when we were talking about the process in the game team,
Yeah.
well, a little bit about my background, but I think it was important to make sure that okay, the the people from the team has a fit with me, and we can have a clear communication, and I'm open uh, um, to hear their question, to hear feedbacks and apply those feedbacks, and I think that there was three steps of interview. It was pretty calm, nothing really hard. And one thing that I think was pretty good, that the process were pretty fast. I think in kind of 2 or 3 weeks, I had an answer in both in Rovio and soft games. So I think it's pretty nice. I think my main concern about that was the language, because it was my first job interview in English, and of
Mm.
course I made a lot of mistakes. I still do a lot of mistakes, but I think it's important, even from Brazil, from people from Latin America, who doesn't have like English as a mother language, for example. Uh, it's pretty important to know that you can have a job abroad without most perfect English in the world. But the important thing is you need to be able to communicate, express your ideas, and
Mhm.
understand the feedbacks, and everything in your team. Is important.
Yeah, interesting. Really.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So that was a lot of info about interviews to take in. So I would say my next question is pretty much we're moving on. I would say for those that are already in the industry, those that have made these interviews, how can they become better professionals? How can they provide, say, value to their companies and become true assets?
Yeah, I think for those who are running the company, I think an important thing is try to absorb what that place has to offer to you. Because you as a employee, you have something you have your work to to offer to the company, but the company has stuff to they have some things to offer to you as well.
Yeah.
For example, I work with so many amazing professionals every day. With some people with plus 10, plus 15 years of experience in gaming industry. It's really great. And I try as much I can learn with that people, and using that learning to be a better professional in the
Yeah.
company. Yeah, I also think something is really hard, but it's really important to have a clear path about what you want to your career.
Mm.
Because I know many friends, for example, who went to a leadership position, leadership career, because they understood that it was the only way to grow up in career. And
Mm.
sometimes you just doesn't fit with that. You can be a really good professional, but it's different to be a really good lead. And
Yeah.
sometimes we have this pressure to go to a place or go to a path that it doesn't belong to us. And I think in many companies we have career plans, we have a regular one-on-one with the leadership, and I think it's pretty important to have this open conversation about what we want to our future.
Mm.
If you want to go lead, that's okay. If you want to go a tech expert or something like that, it's important to show to the company, show to your leadership what do you want your future. And
Mm.
and use all the tools that you as you in in the company, inside of the company, uh, what the company can offer to you to grow. I think that's
Mhm.
it.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I have one question. Now you're a senior game artist. Imagine someone is a game artist and that person wants to move up the ladder. What advice do you give him or her to be like a senior game artist like you? Like what skill sets like it's important to have?
Yeah, I think it's something really difficult to answer because every company has a different aspect for a senior. But I think as a senior, it's important to be part of most part of the production. For example, a junior artist. I don't know if in English is the right term is a junior artist, but uh, they are there to learn, to learn how to do a job. A medium artist, for example, is there to do a job. That just is. But a senior artist have to do a job, and there's more holes on that. You have to learn the juniors. You have to, so for example, has some soft skills like you have to be open to talk to the people, to teach people. You have to open to talk around the other professionals, for example, talk to the programmers, to the producers, and trying to had a good a good environment, a good environment in the game team. And I mean the soft skills, and I of course in technical skills it can be different in some companies, but in Rover, for example, most part of the senior artists are able to, for example, implement some stuff in Unity, take care of some part of the production, uh, talk to, for example, external freelancers, and give it feedbacks to other artists. Então, so I think it's a mix of a lot of soft and technical skills, that you through in your career you are mixing those stuffs in uh your path.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Very interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
it's very good info. I think it's going to help a lot of people who are like somewhere in the middle, like juniors, but they're trying to advance their skills and climb the ladder, so to say. So, for the next subject, as we all know, AI has come in and pretty much taken a huge role within our industries, like whether it's game art, whether it's programming. What changes do you foresee in the future within the gaming industry due to changing technology? And how will this affect the job seekers and professionals?
Yeah, I think it's always complicated to talk about it because it has been growing and changing too fast, every day. And yeah, no, sometimes it's a bit scary,
Yeah,
for us as a professionals of the gaming industry. But I honestly, as I can see, in the next few years, the AI could be, use it for to optimize some process you have today, in the gaming industry. At least that's what I hope for, because I wouldn't surprise, for example, in some point, some knowledge about AI would be required for some roles, but maybe something similar that we have, for example, today. Oh, you have to have like a basic of Blender or basic of Illustrator. It's not a major point to cut a role, but it's a plus for the professionals. Uh, I can see the AI more than I do for make our process better, if it's been doing for good hands. I mean, and for I might be optimist, but I can see that, uh, and I can see, for example, developers using AI for improve concept art process, animation process, coding process maybe, but always as a tool. Yeah, to me
Okay.
is really important having always having a human eye on that stuff.
Mm.
I mean that is what make the products, games, animation, everything else interesting, because we have human minds behind that. You have to use the technology to help those process, not for replace that. And I really
Yeah.
hope in the near future there will be some laws to regulate the AI using, because I really think it could be a benefit to us if
Yeah.
if good handed.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you foresee that it's going to be harder for juniors and recent graduates to get the jobs and get their foot into the industry, or do you think that AI is not gonna it's not gonna matter at all, basically?
I think in as I said, I think it could be a tool, like a requirement as a tool, as a plus knowledge
Mm.
to the juniors, to the professionals. But I don't see it's affecting too much the junior professionals. One thing that since we don't have a laws to regulate that yet, I think in some point it could minimize the number of roles for some studios, because I I truly believe that, for example, great great big studios, no, Supercell, King, Blizzard, Rovio, doesn't go to this way, But I mean, if uh, a guy with a pretty small studio trying to do his first mobile game, maybe instead of get junior gaming arts, he might prefer to go to a AI, because
Mm.
they don't have any brand to follow. For example, they
Mm.
just create something and put in the game. So I think
Mm.
for small studios, indie studios, it could affect the number of roles, but I think for the gaming industry itself, it would be too impactful, I think, and I
Got it.
hope,
Got
I believe.
it. Well, we have to be optimistic. We
Yeah,
don't want to believe that AI is just gonna come in and take all the jobs.
yeah,
So we're
yeah,
keeping a
but in the
positive
same
mindset.
yeah, sorry, in the same time, I think we don't have to, for example, forget about that. We
No.
have to have open minds to study about that, to see what they are doing, what the people are doing with that. Keep your eyes open, because
Mm.
it's
Oh yeah.
important to know that
Yeah. Yeah.
it exists. It's a part of the industry now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's evolving at a really amazing pace. It's amazing, but it's also a bit scary. And I can tell that some people, like juniors, students, and recent graduates, are feeling a bit uneasy about it. But I guess from another perspective, it will also shorten the gap between the big studios and the indie studios,
Yeah,
because previously the gap was money, and that the fact that the small studios couldn't hire as many people. But now that will not be as big of a factor, possibly.
yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much for your input. So I would like to get back to you a little bit, and if we go back in time to when you were like a bit more fresh out of say, what would you do differently if you could go back in time? Uh, what advice do you have for complete newcomers?
What to do different? It's a hard question, but
Hmm.
I think maybe I would believe more in my own ideas in the first, because
Mm-hmm.
as we mentioned before, when I trying to get portfolio to create something, to create a career, we're so focused, in follow the wave, follow the market, and we forgot that sometimes what make us unique professionals. I had this feedback, for example, in the last TAU last year, when I showed my portfolio with a lot of projects from different game studios, from Rovio, Soft Games, Steps, and they said that, okay, it's great, but I can't see in your portfolio you as a person, your creativity, your touch in your portfolio. And I was thinking about that. That's right, because of course it's important to show to the companies, okay, I can do the job, I can follow standards, I can be part of a game team, but it's also important to show why you are so unique professional, because as we said, uh, after the pandemic times, we have a lot of multicultural uh, game studios, multicultural teams with people with different backgrounds.
Mm.
And of course, if I create a single asset with my background, with my vision of world, as a Brazilian, for example, living in Europe is different that who I don't know if you always lived here, but it's an example. But we have different backgrounds, you can create
Yeah.
unique stuffs, both really great, but both unique, and I
Yeah.
sometimes I think I would I would have to believe more in my potential, believe more
Mm.
in my special ideas. We combine
Yes.
it with what the industry, what the market wants.
I
I think
got it.
that a good advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think what makes you different from the other artists is your
Oh,
own ideas?
what makes me yeah, actually, I don't know, but there's something different because everyone has a different background, different ways to think about the same thing. If there's um I don't remember the name, but there is something like if you someone asked you to draw a chair, for example, my chair will be different to your chair, and Dan's chair. So it's more about our vision of word, about our background, And for example, I can create a game about Brazil, for example, and of course, Dennis, you can create a game of Brazil if you're searching for, if you have some research about that. But
Yes.
there's some stuff really, part of the Brazilian culture that only me can put in there, only a Brazilian
Mm.
artist, and it's really valuable, because it makes the even now we have a lot of people from different parts of the world working together. It makes teams stronger, because you have different minds with different backgrounds thinking together. Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
for background, for diversity, all those stuff, is really it's really nice thinking about that. That
Mm.
I am a gaming artist in the gaming industry, doing like uh, a game with a lot of other people's did before me, but they're my special touch on that,
Mm.
I
Mm.
don't know if it was a clear answer, but
It was a good answer.
yeah.
So you would say that a more diverse team can be stronger because of the different backgrounds.
Yeah, definitely, yeah,
Mm.
because yeah, as I mentioned, when we have different people with different backgrounds thinking, about the same thing. Sometimes I think that is really clear to me in a, you know, we have a screen, for example, a screen with character, with UI and everything else. I can have a lecture about that, you know. I can have a vision about that. But you, with your background, you can have just a, okay, I can see different stuff here, you know. And even we are creating things, I think is really important, you know, because it makes the our creations more interesting, you know. It's
Mm,
not,
interesting.
it's above the baseline, you know. And then we have more minds, different minds thinking together. You can go above the baseline. I think what makes the interesting product, you know.
Mm. Very interesting, very interesting. So, my final point is basically about networking. Because as artists, we sometimes get stuck in like grind mode. We sit and draw and paint all day. We do studies, we read books, we watch tutorials. But can you discuss the importance of networking a bit and how important it is for your career?
Yeah, I think it's pretty important. What One of the most important points when you try to build a career. Uh, um, for example, I mean, as I said, in game industry, you work with different people from different areas and different backgrounds. That's really good because, for example, I work with programmers and game designers every day, producers every day. Yeah, I don't know exactly how they think because I have an artist mind, you know. And
Mm,
sometimes having this share between these people is really good. In that we can do the same thing outside of the work, you know.
mm,
For example, talk to the people, you know, in events or even in, you know, social media. It's pretty important, you know, to create those connections, you know. For example, let me think. Yeah, you can go to events, ask for feedback, you know. For example, I already did that in events. I just showed my sketchbook, asked
Mhm.
for some feedback, and
Okay.
it's really minor thing, but this person could, you know, remember you in the future, you know,
yeah.
and saw that you apply that feedback, and okay, it's a good person, it's a good professional because he listened the feedback, you know. And of course, if you don't have a chance to go to events or be inside of a company, we have the social medias. You have to use the tools that we have, you know.
Mm,
So I always said, go to LinkedIn, go to Twitter, and talk to people, talk to other artists. You know, looking for arts that you like the work, you know, and try to talk to them. Yeah, and of course, sometimes you might not have a reply in this part of the show. That's it. But if you got just one feedback or one, you know, you one chat, one single chat, it could be really valuable, you know,
mm,
because it can expand, you know, your knowledge, your own knowledge, and the people knowledge about you. So, for example, post in LinkedIn, post in Twitter. I know in our days, you know, everyone is posting every time, but sometimes it's important to other people show what we are doing, you know, what you can do. It's pretty important. uh, in like for example, if you post a sketch, for example, and some recruiter, some art director could, you know, see that and see something that could be nice to his team, for example, to work with to work with them, for example. So, and as I said before, I had my first contact with my lead art, with my current lead art, in the event like that, and
Mm,
we created a connection there. Was one of the many others interviews that he did that day, but he gave me a feedback. I understood that feedback, applied that in my portfolio, and years after that, uh, I got a role in Rovio because of that little little chat years before, So I think it's pretty valuable. And yeah, I would say talk to the people. Most
Yeah.
people can to got more information. I can. I can't imagine, for example, 20 years before, how the people would do that, without the internet. But now we have that. We have that possibility. So let's try to use that in a good
Yeah.
way.
true.
Yeah. That's very
Interesting.
true. That's very true. Yeah. So you would say basically, if you go to an event, try to ask for feedback because not only does it make you a better artist, it also helps to set you apart from the other candidates because people will remember you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You not only remember, it will create a community,
Yeah.
community knowledge, community sense. Because in events like, for example, TAU, I can see how the people there is they are pretty focused in learning together, learning and teaching together. Because we have, of course, we have mentorships, we have a lot of gods of art there teaching the people, but we have a lot of people like us, working day by day in the gaming companies, but people who have like a lot of knowledge to pass to other people. So I think that is important, trying to create connections, try to talk to people, and you might going to have good fruits about
Yeah.
that, let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. It's like they say, big things have small beginnings.
True.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Very true.
every
Very true.
everything starts with a sparkle, so
Yeah. Or like a seed. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So, the final words. Could you share with us some good lessons for artists or things to keep in mind?
Yeah, I think as I said, we as our artists, we sometimes we have this imposter syndrome, and sometimes I know it's really hard to produce for us, for us or for a company, for a job. But I think, as I said, regret that I have is I would like to believe more in my ideas, in my projects, and create more for me, for example. And I think that's something that all the arts should do. Try to create more, show more their ideas, even in a sketchbook or in a great project. I think every 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 of that single stuff is really important. Try to produce more, produce with pleasure. Produce things that you like to produce. And when sometimes I go to art station, for example, and I see some projects, some art, is you really I can see, when when a project was made with passion and personality, with
Yeah.
love. And I think that's it. We have to go through, try to, of course, try to do things for the industry, but most of them try to create things that us as artists like, and that's my journey. I try to do every day. Sometimes I can, sometimes not, but it's part of the game. I think it's the same for all of us, but it is talk to the people. Yeah, get more knowledge. Continue to studying, to practicing, and do your stuff. Because the game will come sometime.
Mm,
Yeah,
excellent.
awesome. Thank you so much. Now we have 8 minutes left, and Dennis has asked all of the important questions about being like a game artist. Now I want to ask you about life.
Oh, sure. Let's go.
Yes, so you are like a Brazilian. The weather is nice. Here is sunny. You came to Finland. So
Yeah.
what was your first impression of Finland? Like,
Well, no, my first, I arrived here in the spring, so my first impression was, oh, okay, it's not too cold. That's okay. But of course, some months after that, it changed.
Oh yeah.
But I think, yeah, Finland is a pretty amazing country. There are a lot of there's a whole industry, a whole gaming industry here. A lot of nice people here. It's pretty different from Brazil. No, the people are not so open than Brazil. But as I said, it's pretty nice to see this cultural difference. And learn to live with that. And learn to how to survive to winter. For example, sometimes some things that we don't have in Brazil. Because we don't have a real winter in Brazil. I mean, the first time I saw snow was here last year,
oh,
so
Mm,
what was nice. So it's still adventure. I'm enjoying it, and I'm learning. I'm trying to learn every day how to live here, how to handle with some stuff here, how to handle to the Finnish food. It's pretty different than Brazil, and sometimes I miss that. But yeah, I think it's pretty nice, pretty nice. And of course, I have some Brazilian friends here
mhm,
from Taps Games, and it makes everything easier, of
mhm,
course.
mm.
true. And did you have any culture shocks? Like, oh, we do this different in Brazil. Like, something really like stick in your mind.
Yeah, some, because in Brazil, you are pretty warm, we like hugs, we like, to make jokes, some something like that, even with people that we never see before, and here it's pretty different, and it's a kind of uh, it's a journey of understand what the limits here, how to still being a Brazilian in other country, but without disrespect anyone here, because they have their own culture. I truly respect that, but it's a challenge to still having my personality here, but it's a truly challenge, but it's nice, because as I said during the whole webinar, that sense of different backgrounds, different people in learning, because all of us there's something to learn to other people. It's pretty nice, something that we trying to do every day.
True, true.
True.
Yeah. So imagine that someone is coming to Finland. What advice do you give him or her? Like general advice, like life, anything.
Yeah, I think it's not about the work, but about the life itself. Is make sure that it's not a it's not a vacation trip. It's a really changing life. And there's a lot of really good stuff here, but it's pretty different to the other places. In having there are pretty good in some bad things. So be prepared, and be open mind to the changes. And of course, bring some jackets because
Mm,
you need to.
interesting. Yeah, and another question is about the Rovio, like the company. How is like the work environment in there? Like, do you feel like any pressure, like compared to Brazil? Like, This one.
No, actually, working in Rovio is pretty nice. We have uh, I mean, I think I'm the biggest team in Rovio, like more than 70 people in the same game. So a lot of people, different people, but I think it's pretty good. You know, we don't have pressure. Of course, sometimes we had to. There is a release for tomorrow. We have to rush a bit, but it's part of our role. You know, our profession. But we have. Uh, we have a lot of opportunities in Rovio. We have a clear path about what we have to do. No pressure, good people, and I think it's pretty good to work there. And that most beyond that, we have it. It's my first time working like a with an IP like Angry Birds, you know, and it's
Mhm.
pretty crazy to see how the community, the Angry Birds community is engaged with that, how they really cares about the game, and it's really nice to see that my illustrations, my stuff, everything I do has a really could be a really minor impact, but there's some impact in the other people's lives, you know, and it's really nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying and until now, I'm really enjoying my whole experience in working in Rovio.
Mhm. Great, awesome. And my last and my favorite question: can you recommend us like a book, a YouTube channel, a podcast? It can be about everything. Like it's about the like game industry or anything like you enjoy.
Oh, it could be pretty basic, but in the Riot channel, YouTube channel, there
Mhm.
is sequence a playlist of videos called I think is Do You Wanna Make Games or something like that.
Mhm.
There are small videos like 7-10 minutes in each video go through any specific area, some specific area in the gaming industry. You know,
Mhm.
tech art, UX designer, gaming artist, producer, and even mostly for the aspiring artists, aspiring people who wants to join to the gaming industry. I think it's a really first step to understand how big is the industry, and how many roles we have in where you could fit in, you know. So it's I think it's a good starting point if you are, you know, struggling about what to what I want to do in the gaming industry.
Mhm. So thank you so
Excellent.
much. Yeah, excellent. We
Yeah,
have talked like we for 1 hour. Really like awesome. I have enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
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 Mr. Werllen Holanda, thank you so much for joining us today and thank you for sharing your time with us. It's been truly interesting and we are really, really grateful.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thanks for invite. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me here. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And
Yeah.
for everyone is watching. Yeah. If you want to talk to chat, ping me on LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, let's talk. Let's make this industry even bigger.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes. We will
exactly.
provide all those links.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.